Hey, what's up, guys? Travis here. That's right. I am not going by Bass Fishing 243 anymore. So this COVID, it's really given me a chance to plan. Obviously, I'm from Missouri. The state of Missouri shut down the last week of March. We shut down the state, and we just reopened here in the first week of May. So that whole month of April, I went chilled out at my parents' house in St. Louis and just thought about things I wanted to do going forward, past coronavirus. The biggest of which, I want to trick this boat out. And having not made any money, because for some reason, I'm still working on fixing this, but for some reason the state of Missouri denied my unemployment. I'm still trying to get that fixed. They tried to tell me that I never worked last year at all, and I thought, that's not right. But if I didn't make any money over the break, but universities given money to students who weren't eligible for the stimulus money that Trump sent out. So I applied for that. We'll see. I applied for that Monday, so we'll see. Usually takes about a week. They say it takes a week to get approved. So we'll see if I get approved for that. Plus I got some calves. I have one calf left due that my grandparents buy my calves from me. So hopefully they buy that, and I have that calf get born soon. If I can figure out my unemployment money, I'm actually probably going to come out ahead from Corona. So that's going to be interesting. So what I've thought is, if I come out ahead on this and make more money than I would have just working, I'm going to trick this boat out. And we're going to spend our last year going hardcore. I'm going to fish every tournament like it was the Bassmaster Classic. We're going to do our absolute best to try to make a national championship, if not win an event. So today, I'm going to take you along on some of these upgrades, and hopefully over the next couple weeks, I make a few of these videos. I want to take you guys along, since I haven't made any fishing videos this year. I want to take you guys along with the boat upgrade process. So today, we're going to do something that I have desperately wanted to do ever since I bought this boat. I have wanted to do this. That is, if you'll notice, the trolling motor's gone. That's a long story. It disintegrated. That's the shortened version. But if you notice, there is flat floor here. And what I have to do is I have to basically do the Captain Morgan all day with one leg up in the air and one leg on the deck. And on a non-stable platform, that has so far once resulted in me getting thrown off the boat. So, what we're doing today, we are going to install this bad boy, recessed foot pedal tray. These just so happen to pop up on Bass Pro. We just got these on clearance at Bass Pro Shops. So I already went ahead and I cut out the instructions. Were also my template. So I cut out the template for the size of the hole that we need to cut in the floor. I've got my drain tubing. I've got screws and zip ties. Got my bag of tools over here, and a huge shout out to my buddy from work, William, who loaned me his jigsaw. So I'm going to use this jigsaw to cut the hole out of the floor. I've already looked underneath this compartment, and up in the front of it is a channel that runs into the main drain. So I can run my hosing to that front compartment, drill a hole there, and that'll be my drain hole for the plug, or for the tray. So we're going to put this in, but then we just happen to get these things showed up at Bass Pro too. These are trim extenders, if you don't know what they are. They're an item that we had not carried in quite a while, and they just randomly showed up. I think we actually ordered them for another customer who didn't want them after they arrived. It took so long for them to arrive that he just said, forget it, I don't want them. So these are going to hopefully give me a little bit more trim out of my motor and get going a little bit quicker. So these will be super easy to put in. I'll do these first. I'll show you putting these in and why we want to put them in. And then once I'm done with that, we're going to start moving on to measuring, cutting the carpet out, cutting the floor out, installing the drain hose. We're going to do everything. I'm going to show you the whole process of putting in this recessed foot pedal tray. I've read this instructions top to bottom like crazy. I've read it like probably 4 times over to make sure I know what was going on. So yeah, I'm excited for this. Okay, I have no idea if you can see this well because my dumb butt left my head mount, my head strap at home. I hope you can see that all right. That looks like a better angle. So, these are trim extenders. Essentially, you get your main pistons here, and as you're driving down the lake, you trim up. That gets more boat out of the water, less resistance overall from the hole, and you get to go quite a bit faster. With my boat, it's not getting out of the hole as well. It's not getting up high enough. I can feel it getting up most of the way, but it's just not getting all the way that I want it to. Trim extender is going to make this base back behind here bigger. Let me just go ahead and take this. So underneath here, you got your plates, your pads here that rest against your pistons. That, whoops, it's going to make that pad taller, thus giving me just a little bit more trim out of the boat, hopefully getting the boat more out of the water, and hopefully gaining a few miles per hour. I've determined that most of my speed issues are actually from this propeller. This is a 25-pitch trophy, 4-blade. 4-blade props are not known for speed, so I'm fairly confident that most of my problems are related to the prop, not the trim. But either way, replacing these trim tabs and these trim extenders won't be a bad thing either. This is a 9/16. That's the wrong way. Right? Yeah, that's the wrong way. Yeah, you go this way. The 9/16 ratchet. I'm just using to hopefully pop this off of here. Come off. Yep, just like that. There's the old trim extender. There's the old trim tab. I'm going to save the washer, the lock washer and nut. I'm going to put the new trim extender in its place with the lock washer and nut. Feed that right on there, and looky there, looky, that's going to fit perfect. Just need to hold it down. And you don't need it super tight, but hand tight is good. There's one. And I'm actually holding the camera in with this extension cable. Like I said, I wish I would have remembered to bring my head mount. Get out of my way a little bit. I think I'm just going to do it on this side because I have nowhere to put the camera. For the front, I'm actually just going to take the camera and slap it right back onto its normal deck mount like I would normally would when I'm fishing, but back here I can't. I'm just going to do the same thing to this side. Like I said, super easy to do. That just literally took me 30 seconds. I'm just going to do the other side and then we'll move on to the foot tray. Right. So, the most interesting part of this is going to be the fact that I'm installing the tray in a compartment. So, first step, I got to clean this all out. But then I need to figure out how far, and that's where I'm thinking I'm going to put the tray. I know it says to go off of where you normally sit or stand, or normally sit with the pedestal, but I never use this seat base. I don't even have a pedestal to fit in it. I followed underneath here. Underneath underneath here, there is a drain hose that goes up to the front compartment up there, and that is where I intend to run the hose for the tray. I intend to go out that same hose into the keel that goes underneath the boat and out to the bilge. The trick will be making sure that I have enough hose, because if you notice, that hose is only about 1 foot long. So I need to measure, get the tape measure, figure out where the front of that tray is going to be and how close it's going to be to that front compartment where I need to get that hose to run. So I'm thinking I might do a time lapse. I think I'm going to do time lapse with this. I've never used the time lapse feature on this GoPro before, but I think I'm going to use it. So. Okay. So, I've discovered that from the hinge of this, the front of my compartment tray where the drain hole needs to be is exactly just about 35 inches. So if I lay the 35-inch line right on this hinge, that puts the original location of my maximum pedal too far forward. So I gotta back that tray up just a little bit so that the entire tray drops into the compartment instead of into that front little section where the graph and control switch are. I don't want to have to cut that out. Alright, so I think I've got the right spot now. I think the template is in the exact spot it needs to be. So, I wish I had black. The only Sharpie I got is silver. So we're going to take this silver Sharpie. We're just going to trace out the outline of this template on the carpet. And I'm going to hope that it stands out well enough against gray. I think it is. It's not too bad. The point is to make this as dark as I can get it. Wow. It's showing up plenty dark enough. Because this is going to be the outline of my cut. And I gotta just get this nice and dark. Yeah, I'll switch back to time lapse. Okay, so there's my outline. It's kind of hard to see on here, but you can kind of make out the darker silver line on the gray carpet. That was obviously where the old Maxim foot pedal used to be. Backed it up just a little bit, and I made sure that 35 inches from this point so if I put my 35-inch line right on the hinge where it needs to be, the front of this base will just barely clear that. So this is approximately where the front of my compartment ends, and that tray is going to sit very close to it. I wanted to get it as far forward as I can because I don't really know exactly how. The trolling motor that I get, I was going to keep it a secret, but screw it, I'll just go ahead and tell you. It's a Ghost. I'm going to get a Lowrance Ghost. This model tray is a motor guide tray, but I measured out the Ghost foot pedal that we had on display. Measured out the display Ghost pedal, it will drop right into a motor guide tray. So I bought the motor guide tray, which is a little bit smaller than the Minn Kota tray. I don't know how long that, I feel like it will be, but the Ghost has the digital steering. And I want to make sure that I've got enough, it's close enough to the motor that when I put the foot pedal in the tray, finally whenever I get that, I've got enough slack in my cable so that it can go into its own bracket properly
and just be able to stow and deploy without stretching that cable. I think it'll clear. That cable is kind of long. I mean, on my display, it's about 3.5 foot. So I'm pretty sure I'll be all right, but I didn't want to take any chances, so I want to get this foot tray as close to the edge of that compartment as I can get it. And I think I did it right there. I think that's good. So next, I gotta cut the carpet out. For that, I bought some, where's my tools? Where's my X-Acto knife? Yeah, there. Bought some box cutters, just cheap, because I was going to use my pocket knife. I was like, you know what, I don't want to risk breaking my pocket knife. So I bought some just cheap box cutters. We're going to cut out the carpet, and then we will start drilling holes for the jigsaw. Okay, so that is it. Carpet's been removed. That was actually quite a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. I have a new respect for those who install carpet and tear carpet out. That was a lot tougher than I thought it'd be. But I'm definitely glad I bought a box blade for that instead of trying to use my own pocket knife. So now I have the outline already made for the tray. It should be underneath that other compartment. Now this is the part that I'm most concerned about, because the next step on here is, once you've removed the carpet, and I've confirmed that that is where I want to put my pedal. It's right here. Gives me lots of room there, lots of room here. That feels good. I don't care about the seat base because I don't ever sit down. I stand up all the time. If that cable from the Ghost comes out about here, that should have enough room. That should be more than enough room to deploy and stow. So now the next step is to use a 1/2-inch bit, which I bought one. It's in the Lowe's bag over there. And you want to cut 1/2-inch holes in each corner of this spot. And that way you have a 1/2 inch big enough to put the jigsaw, so that you can cut all of the fiberglass and any wood that's in here. Cut out the wood and fiberglass and make a hole. I brought my shop vac because this is going to get dirty. And I'm sorry, William. I know you told me wear a mask. I forgot my mask at home. I might improvise with my shirt or hoodie or something. Yeah, this is fiberglass. Try not to breathe it in if you can. Okay, so now it's raining outside, but that's okay. We're in a dry barn. I don't care. So the back holes went great. They had no issues. The front holes may have been just a hair too far forward, because when I dropped, I felt it drop, and then all of a sudden I felt it start hitting again, and I pulled it out, and sure enough, it was right there. I don't think it's going to be an issue because the jigsaw should be able to just trim that. I don't need a lot of space with a jigsaw, but if I was trying to put it close to that that front of that compartment, yeah, it's close. It's like gonna be a sliver It's not going to have much room at all. But I think it'll be all right. Okay. So, camera battery 1 died. Fortunately, I have multiple batteries. So here is Williams' jigsaw. Like I said, really small blade. I don't think I needed it to be a full 1/2 inch wide. That blade's only about 1/4 inch thick. He did say this is the fiberglass blade. He said he lubed everything up. He said it shouldn't have any issues. Gave me some replacement fiberglass blades if I needed it, but I'm going to try to go slow so I don't break or bend this blade at all, and I can hopefully just do this all in one cut. Yeah, here we go. This is tough. Okay, so I used the shop vac while the camera was off just to clean out a lot of the fiberglass particles. So I hopefully shouldn't have to wear my mask anymore. My shirt as a mask. But here's the hole. Look at there. We got a hole. That just popped right out. It's about a half of an inch to 3/4 of an inch thick decking. There's the drain hose that goes to the pedestal base. So underneath there is the channel that goes to the bilge. I learned that when I took that apart and looked down underneath here. So one of the next things I got to do, I bought a 1-inch spade bit for my power drill. And the thing is, I was thinking about just making that hole wider, but it dawned on me, I don't really know exactly what's back here. I know it's the channel, the drain channel, but I don't know exactly what's back there. And I don't know how that spills out. So I'm going to take a spade bit, I'm just going to make a new hole right up here. That tubing just goes right out into that hole. I might use my screwdriver to take this out too, just to see if I can't see down in here and see exactly what's back there. If I can, and then I might even trim this up a little bit. Let's see if it drops in. I don't think it will. I think I need to trim it up, but that side does. Yeah, I knew it. This side needs trimmed up a little bit, but that side looks to fit pretty flush. So that's good. That side seems to drop in there. I just need to trim up this edge. And trim this edge up. This was my first cut that I made. You can tell when I went first cut, second cut, third cut, as I got better. This one, I realized I was hitting this plastic, so I purposely spaced it out further. I'm going to trim this. If I have to, I can trim it, but I don't know that I do, because it seems to drop in there pretty well. So I may not have to trim that front one. But I'll trim it if I have to. This one I definitely need to trim. This was my first cut I made, and it's the sloppiest. And then I slowly got better with the saw. So I'm gonna trim this up. I don't think I'll take video of this, but I'm gonna trim this up here, and I might drill that bit, but I'm at least gonna trim it up so that it drops in. Okay, so after trimming it up, there's our finished plate. And it drops in there. It's not entirely perfect, but once I put some silicone around the edges and screw it down, I think it'll be fine. And it will support my weight. So, yeah, there we go. So there's the plate. It's in position. So pulling that back out. Whew, it's still dusty in there. I'm gonna put, that's really dusty in there. Okay. I'm gonna put my 1-inch spade bit on. And I'm gonna put a hole right about here. Once I check back here and see if I can't see that, and make sure there's nothing that I'm gonna break that's important back there. And I'm gonna drill my hole, put my spade bit on, chop it right through that plastic, because this is just plastic. That's not a fiberglass or anything. Yeah, chop right through that, and that'll be my drain hole. And then we add silicone, we add screws, and we're done. Well, that was so easy that I didn't even bother turning the time lapse on. There's my 1-inch hole right there. Punches straight through the plastic. There was actually some fiberglass behind there, so I made a little bit of a mess, but my 1-inch drain tubing flows right in there, and you can see right through here, right down there, is the channel where that other tubing goes. That's the channel that goes to the drain. I'm holding the camera upside down, so it's gonna look a little weird for you, but yeah, there's my drain tube, my drain hole. Drain tubing will go through here. The plug will be right about there, and that should be fine. That should be perfect. Excellent. That'll be easy. I'll show you what I did. I'll show you my accident. I'm not below hiding my mistakes from you guys. So I drilled this top hole, and the issue with it was that I forgot to think about the fact that this tray is lower than the floor. So what was happening, it created a point, like pinch like that, and I was like, well, that's not going to drain any water. So I drilled that lower hole beneath there, and now it'll sit open and let water drain out. Put the front dash back in. Next up to do, I've got to take my bottle of silicone, and then I need a small drill bit. I'm going to drill some pilot holes for these 6 screws that will go into the deck here. The pack will come with these little about 3/4 inch to 1 inch screws that should just sit just perfect in my deck. And then run silicone around the edge, so mash it down so it's waterproof. Hopefully, be very, very liberal with your silicone. Let it ooze out a little bit, that's fine. Better for it to be too much silicone than not enough. That will harden, make it all waterproof. Drill my screws down, and that will make it permanent. And that's it. And just like that, screws are drilled. A little bit of silicone around the edges, but that's alright. I'd rather have too much than not enough. Made sure to mash those screws down all the way. Yeah, there we go. That is a recessed foot pedal tray. Yeah. And like I said, here, whoop, all my weight on it. It'll hold my weight. This one is made by Flatfoot, or Rod Saver. Made by Rod Saver. It's called the Flatfoot Recessed Tray. This one, like I said, is a motor guide model. I measured it out before just to make sure that it would fit a Ghost, and it will. So next thing up front, we'll be installing the Ghost trolling motor whenever that arrives. I'm gonna get that, so that's gonna go up front. I gotta really clean my deck. I got all muddy after I went out there to go wash my hands. Ghost is gonna go up front. On the back, right now with the RAM mount, we actually have the HDS Live 7 back here. I got my 0.1 antenna back there. I do need to switch. This switch right here on the dash is not working. So I need to replace that. I already ordered the new one. It just hasn't arrived yet. Going to put a new switch in here. That will give me a power source. Then my NEMA wire is actually sticking right behind there already. So my NEMA power wire is going to come from that switch. That will turn the 0.1 on. So then my 0.1 will finally be working. Then I've also got that NEMA wire already extends through this compartment, this side compartment, and comes up, and it's actually zip tied down underneath here just to keep it where it's at. So that's the end of my NEMA backbone. Then I'm going to put T connectors on there to have my Ghost, and then I'm going to move the Live 7 up front, and we're going to put the 12 on the back. So I'll have an HDS 12 on the back of the boat, or on the console. I'll have a 0.1 antenna on the very back of the boat. I'll have a HDS Live 7 on the front of the boat, a Lowrance Ghost trolling motor. I'm excited. This year is going to be great once it's all finished up. I can't wait. I'm going to bring you guys along and show you all of the installs. Hopefully, I will be ordering the Ghost very soon. Hopefully. And then the Live 12 should be shortly after that. And the very last thing I want to do is add a new propeller. So yeah, I got realistically 3 more things before this boat is about as maxed out as I want it to be. So I can't wait to get this done with, get this boat fully loaded and ready for tournaments. I'll see you guys in the next video.